Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2019 Volvo XC60. I'm going to walk you through how to install the Stealth Hitch rack receiver in wiring kit. Now if you're looking for a hitch for your Volvo and you're looking for one to maintain the sleek look of it so you don't see the receiver or the cross tube, the Stealth Hitch receiver with the wiring is probably the best way to go. Hence the Stealth name. Once you take your ball mount off or your receiver, you don't see anything. Everything is hidden behind the fascia, so it maintains the factory look of the vehicle. The hitch is going to come, actually the hitch and wiring kit is going to come with your receiver. It's a 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, 5/8 hitch pin hole. Keep in mind this is not designed for towing. This is only designed for your bike racks and cargo carriers. It also comes with your ball mount. It looks like this. It's going to come with a 7-pole and 4-pole plug. So depending on the trailer you pull, if you have a 7-pole plug, you can simply plug it into the 7-pole underneath the vehicle. If you have a 4-pole, you use this, plug it in, and your 4-pole goes into the end of it, and it gives you that option. It's going to come with a set of keys because the block on here has a lock on it. So when you put your ball mount in or your receiver, you can actually lock it in place. And then when you're not towing anything or hauling anything, it's got a plug that you stick in the bottom of that block, and it helps keep dirt, grime, anything like that from getting up inside the hole. What I'm going to do is I'm going to raise it up in the air and kind of show you how everything works and how everything looks on the vehicle. Just kind of give you an idea of what it looks like underneath the vehicle. This is what it would look like when you're not hauling anything. You have your rubber plug, as we talked about earlier. It simply slides right inside of the hole of the block. You have your lock with your cover. The cover on it helps keep any dirt and grime from getting on your lock or inside your lock there. You have your handle, which is here. This is what you would use to release anything you have in there. And then of course your 7-pole plug. Now as far as putting anything in it, let's say for instance your rack receiver, you want to make sure it's unlocked of course. You're simply going to take this and push it up in there until it clicks. With it unlocked, your lock will be out. Turn your handle all the way towards the front of the vehicle till you hear it click. You're going to slide it up like that. That's going to lock that in place. Once you get it in place, push your lock in. That's going to lock it so nobody can come in and take it off. To take it off, make sure your lock is undone. Turn the handle again towards the front of the vehicle, and this will slide out. Same thing with your ball mount. And then of course, when you're not towing, push your lock in, put your cover on, put your rubber plug in, and you're ready to go for the next time. Something to keep in mind or something to note is the wiring that comes with your kit. It's going to come with the module. It's going to mount on the passenger side behind the panel in the rear cargo area. Gives you the wiring to connect to it. You're going to connect factory wiring that's inside the vehicle to it as well. However, before this will work, before your 7-pole plug with all of your light function will work, you have to take the vehicle to a dealership once you get this installed and have the tow mode programmed on the car or turned on the vehicle. Once that's turned on, you basically be ready to go. So with your rack receiver in place, as I mentioned, this is going to be designed for your bike racks, your cargo carriers. It is not designed for towing. 2" by 2" receiver tube opening, 5/8 hitch pin hole to secure your items onto your receiver. As far as measurements go, we're at 22 inches to the top inside. We'll take off 8 inches for the height of the lift. We're looking at about 14 inches. From the ground. So that number is important for your hitch mount accessories that may hang a little bit low. going to make sure they're not going to drag the ground. The hitch pin hole sits about even with the fascia, so I don't think we're going to have to worry about any of those folding accessories like your bike racks and cargo carriers that fold up, making contact with the vehicle. As far as our ball mount goes, from the center of this pin to the center of the ball, it's about 10 inches. It's going to insert the same way as the receiver. So push it up so it locks into place. Again, lock it. As far as measurements go with this, we're going to be about 27 inches. Minus the 8, we're looking at about 19 inches. Give or take, depending on the size tires you have on your vehicle, may change that just a little bit. We're going to have a 600-pound vertical load limit, which is what you push down on the ball, and a 6,000-pound gross trailer weight, which is the trailer plus anything you have loaded on it. I always recommend checking the owner's manual of the vehicle. Make sure the vehicle can withstand that amount of weight. You're going to want to go with the lowest number between the vehicle and the receiver or ball mount. Another thing to keep in mind is this hitch is not designed to be used with weight distribution. So if you have a trailer that might be a little bit tongue heavy, it might be something you want to think about if you're looking at this receiver. As far as the installation process, it's really not too difficult. You have a couple of bolts on this side you need to take out, a couple on that side, in the wheel well, and then you have 4 across the bottom. You have a plug right over here on this side you'll have to disconnect when you pull the fascia off. Other than that, you pop the fascia off, take your bumper beam off, put your new cross tube on, mount your block, wiring if you got it, and then the wiring is actually simple too. You have a grommet right over here in this corner. You feed everything in and connect it to the control module that they give you, and then take it to a dealership to get tested or to get activated. Trimming, you have a little bit of trimming down here on the bottom. Obviously, you're going to have trimming because everything is up hidden behind your fascia there, and you need to have access to it when you want to use it. But it's minimal. You're not trimming a whole lot off the bottom of the car. The trimming that you do, obviously you don't see it because it's on the bottom. So if it is something you may not have the time or the space to do, you can always check out our dealer locator and find someone near you that is able to put it on for you. If it is something you want to give it a try, you can do it in your driveway or your garage. It's not going to require any major tools. Follow along with me and I'll walk through how to do it. Another thing I want to mention is leave a comment. Leave a comment, question. Let us know how you use it. Send pictures. If you have any issues. The more questions you give us, the more comments you give us or leave us, the better we can help other neighbors that maybe haven't asked that question yet. With that being said, we'll go ahead and get started on the installation now. To start your installation, you're going to open your hatch. This rubber bumper here, we're just going to twist it and slide it out. We're going to go straight up this small cap here by the tail light. Take a plastic trim panel tool, we're going to pop this out. 8mm socket, we're going to remove that screw. And from each side, wheel well, T25 Torx bit, you're going to remove 6 screws on the outside here. Pull your wheel well liner back, you're going to have one more right up in this corner. And then you're going to repeat that same thing on the other side. Then underneath the vehicle, T25 Torx bit, we're going to remove 4 of the 6 screws. These 2 here You know this little cut out of this little hole? These two and these two. Now before we remove our fascia, I recommend taping the seams underneath the light and where the body panel hits the fascia. It's just going to help protect it when we're taking it off and putting it on from chipping the paint or scratching it. We're going to start on the outside and work our way to the center. We're going to grab here and we're going to start to pull out. What you want to make sure you don't do is just pull it off, because if you have sensors or anything in the bumper that need to be unplugged, we don't want to damage that wiring. Right here's a plug. Push down on this black tab and pull out. Once you get it disconnected, we'll set the fascia aside somewhere safe. 15mm socket. We're going to remove the 3 nuts that are holding our bumper beam on each side. I will recommend, once you get them loose, loosely install one finger, put it on with your fingers just where it's holding on while you take the other side off. That way the bumper beam doesn't just fall off. May be necessary to use a socket wrench to loosen these first if you're using a power tool. However you want to do it. We're going to pull our bumper beam off. This will not be reinstalled. Next thing we need to do is take some tin snips. It's going to tell you in the instructions 15 inches. If you go right to the inside of this support bracket here, on both sides, draw you a line. They show it going up to about here. I'm going to say go up a little bit farther. All we're going to do is once we get this cut or trimmed, we're going to take this and we're going to bend it up so it doesn't make contact with the back of the hitch. So, tin snips. We're going to take this, we'll bend it up. Like that. We're going to come back and we're going to cut these corners off right here. Next, we're going to take our cross mounter here, put it in place. We're going to take the factory nuts that we removed, put it on the studs. We're going to take this bolt, we're going to put a lock washer on, then a flat washer. We're going to thread it into this bottom hole on each side. Once you get all your hardware loosely installed, make sure your hitch is centered, then we're going to come back and tighten it down. We're going to use the same socket, 15mm to tighten these down, and a 17mm to tighten this down. And you're going to come back and you're going to torque all your hardware to the specifications and the instructions. So if you're just doing the rack receiver, you're going to take your block, you're going to slide it in place like this. You're going to take your tow hooks, safety chain loops, from the passenger side. I'll get this over. Line up with the block like that. We're going to take the bolt from the passenger side, the bolt head. We're going to go through to the driver's side. And then this one will go on the other side. You put the nuts on, tighten them, torque them down to the specifications. Once you get that done, then you need to trim out the lower part of your fascia for your receiver, and then just reinstall the fascia in reverse order from the way you took it off. I recommend, if you're doing this, do it with the wiring as well, because you're going to have the fascia off already, and you have to have the fascia off to do the wiring. It's simple to do, the wiring, or as far as this block goes with the wiring. What we're going to do is we're going to take this guy here, and it's going to line up like that. Then we're going to take our second safety chain loop, and we're going to slide it over the top like this. Once you get your second safety chain loop on, then we'll come back. We'll install the large nylon lock nuts, and then we'll come back and we'll tighten and torque everything down. We'll come back with a 15/16 socket, tighten them down. As I mentioned, if you're just installing the rack receiver without the wiring, after you get your block installed with your safety chain loops, you're going to trim out your lower fascia per the instructions and reinstall it in reverse order. If you are doing the wiring and you move to the step of installing this bracket, then we can move on to the wiring and getting that installed. Next, on our passenger side, this tow hook right behind the seats, take a flathead screwdriver, a small one. Right on the inside at the top, there's a little slot. We need to pop that cap out. We're going to take a 10mm socket and remove that tow loop or that tie down. Once you get it loose, just pop the whole thing out. And we're going to fold our passenger rear seat down. We're going to come follow our seatbelt up, this top piece here, take a trim panel tool, stick it underneath of it. We want to pop that off. Set it aside. Take your seatbelt, slide it over like this. Right here, there's a hole with a 10mm bolt. We need to remove that as well. Pop this off. There's a leather trim piece right here that runs from up here down to your seat. We need to pop this off. We'll start at the top and we're just going to pull out and just work your way down, and we'll set that aside. Then we're going to take a trim panel tool, come right in this corner is how I found it easier to do. Pull up the rubber seam, and right where this panel meets that one, stick it down there and pry out. Then we're just going to work our way across at the top here, and that'll allow you to pull this panel out and move it to the side. So we're going to get our panel a little bit more out of the way. This plug here is for your light. You're going to have to reach up underneath and kind of push this right here. So if you have a screwdriver or something, push up on the bottom and just kind of pull that out. You're going to have a clip right here that's holding your wiring on. Go ahead and pull that off as well. You have a plug here, push down on the blue tab, slide that out, and then we can get our panel out of the way. In your kit, you're going to get a control module. It looks like this. This part needs to face out so that the dealership knows these numbers or can find them when they have to program it. It might be a good idea to either take a picture of it or to write it down on the instruction sheet so that the dealership doesn't have to pull the panel back out. I'm going to write it down for our neighbor so they can just take that sheet to the dealership with them. There's an arrow on this box. Face that up, and if we look inside the car, where we're going to mount this, there's another module right here. We're going to take the two-sided adhesive and put it on the back of this control module and stick it right to the front of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one like this. This is going to come in a single piece, but it's separated. You can rip it. And I'm going to put one like this. We're going to locate our vehicle wiring harness. It may be wrapped in foam like this. This plug right here with the red wires, it's going to go in that top left corner. We'll take the green one, it's going to go in this bottom right corner. This one is going to be for our tow wiring. Right here on your passenger side, there's going to be a rubber grommet. That dimple right in the middle, we can pop this out and we want to drill a 3/8 hole in it. You don't necessarily have to use a drill, you can use a utility knife as well. We're going to take our wiring harness. From the inside, we're going to feed this end out. Go right down where we mounted that module and come out of that hole. Take all this, slide it through that grommet. I'm going to get this pulled out enough because our 7-pole plug is going to be mounted right here. Reinstall your grommet. That. Just leave this hang, and it can move back to the inside. We're going to take this plug. It's going to go right here in the top right corner of the module. Take the rest of our wiring, tuck it back in here like this. You have a ground wire with a ring terminal on it. We're going to feed it down underneath this brace. And if we look right there, that's a factory ground stud. We're going to remove that nut, and that's where our ground's going to be placed. Place it on the ring terminal, reinstall the nut, and then tighten it back into place. Next, we're going to take our 7-pole plug. You're going to have a screw right back here. You don't need to take it all the way out. It's just for this rubber grommet here that seals around the wiring. On each side, you're going to have 2 screws. These are going to need to come all the way out. We're going to open the lid, and we're going to slide this guy out. Take our wiring. Feed it through the back like this. And come out of your plug. Like that. We're I'm going to go ahead and strip back each one of our wires. So at the bottom of this plug, there's a slot, or on the plug, there's a slot that runs all the way through it. If we face it to the bottom, we're going to go brown, black, green, blue, white, yellow, purple. Phillips screwdriver, we're going to loosen it so that little tab comes out. Take the wire, stick it back behind it, and tighten it back down. Then we're going to repeat that for the other ones. Once you get everything wired up, we're going to slide our plug back into the housing. And you'll know when it's seated in there correctly when the edges of the plug are flat with the housing itself. We'll take our 7-pole bracket in hardware, put the bolt through, and you'll have 2 of them. Flat washer, star washer, and then a nut. I would suggest, because this is getting mounted on the passenger side, to run your bolts to where they're facing out, because this is the handle to release your ball mount or your receiver, and you don't want to reach up in there and catch your knuckles on the end of that. We'll take a Phillips screwdriver and a 5/16, and we'll tighten our hardware in place. And we need to mount our 7-pole plug. .3/8 socket and wrench, and a Phillips screwdriver, and we'll tighten that into place. I wouldn't over tighten these because the housing on this 7-pole plug is plastic. This black panel right here, push up on this tab. You may have to push in on this box to get that to release off the little holders. We're going to pop this panel off. We're going to go from here. You have this fuse holder, or fuse. We're going to go one below it, so that missing one right there. We're going to take the 40-amp fuse that comes in the kit and insert it right in that place. Once you get that in, you can reinstall the cover. Once you're done with your fuse, you can go ahead and reinstall your interior panel. Don't forget to reinstall your plugs that you unplugged if you did. Next thing we need to do is we need to trim out our fascia. Your instructions are going to tell you from the inside, this is going to be the driver's side here, this corner right here, over 14.5 inches, and you need to come out and down, up 2.5. So the width of this is 2.5 inches. From here to here, the straight line is 14.5, and just come out with it. And we're going to take a rotary tool and we're going to cut that out. Once you get it trimmed, you can take a file or a utility knife and clean up the edges a little bit. Utility knife, just run it across. Once you're done trimming, go ahead and test fit your fascia. Check to see if you have to make any further cutting. Once you've determined you're got it cut how you want, go ahead and reinstall your fascia and reverse over from the way you took it off. Once you have your fascia reinstalled, take your vehicle to the dealership, have them program the wiring, and as I mentioned earlier, write down those numbers on the front of that module so that it'll make it a little bit easier when you get there. That way they won't have to take out the panel to get to them. Once you're done with all that, you're basically ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at and installation of the Stealth Hitch rack receiver and wiring kit on a 2019 Volvo XC60.